And there it is, that's our first good glimpse of the Chinese wall.
I'd marinate him with pepper spray and then shoot him with my gun.
It's Friday morning and we are at the Bob. I'm here with my buddy Stu. You may have seen him on YouTube. If not, check him out. How's the Hike? And my buddy Jon with no H. And together we are going to hike in for 5 days in the Bob and have a great hike. So this is the actual day one of our hike. Yesterday we were hoping to get to the trailhead about 4 o'clock. It took 10 hours to drive from my house. So we didn't get to the trailhead parking lot until about 6 o'clock, and we thought, well, why don't we just camp at the trailhead? Just a really nice campground there, and this morning we are hiking, so it's been a bit of an adventure already. We are on Trail 202, and we're going to be on Trail 202 for a while today. And it looks right now like basically one nice big horse trail, so pretty easy walking. We've been in the trees for the past few minutes and we're breaking out now into this. And this would be growth from a burn from years ago. Here's a junction with 265. We're going to stay on 202. It's more of a main trail into where we want to go. It's pretty nice out here. We're walking through an old burn. Not sure what year it was. So if you can see through the ugliness, it is beautiful.
Beautiful river.
So this is a trail junction with 203, and 203 is the trail that we will hopefully come out on in a few days. And we're going to continue on 202. Just to show you the scale of this place and the size of the surroundings. This is huge. This is the trail that we're walking along right now. Now we're going back down. You can see Stuart down there and Jon. So I think we're going to stop for lunch pretty soon here. We're going to stop near water down there, I think, and take a break. According to Stuart's map, the Pretty Prairie cabin should be right over there to our left. We found it. Right now, nice easy walk, nice breeze, beautiful day, and a beautiful spot. That's Jon, that's not a bear. At first glance, I thought this was a bear.
Yeah.
It's got the shape of it and the size of it. On another note, we're going to call this White Mountain. I have no idea what the name is, but we'll go with White Mountain.
You up to Rock Creek?
all the way around, did you?
I had to talk myself into it.
Yeah.
So standing beside Jon is his son Justin, and there's Jesse and Adam. And so these guys are walking the bob, and they're doing the same loop we are, only counterclockwise. So we knew sooner or later today we were going to bump into them, and we did. So it's great to see them. They're on their way out. They're going to camp tonight near the trailhead, and then they'll be out tomorrow. So this is going to be camp tonight. We just walked in and we're setting up the tents. We got the beer and the Coke chilling in the river for happy hour. I think we're giving up on the campfire tonight. It's breezy here, so the best tent sites are actually near the campfire ring, so I think that's where we're going to go. We're on the edge of a nice little meadow here. Well, we had a little bit of rain at dinner time, and the sky has cleared up completely. Had a nice little rainbow as well. Dinner's been eaten, and the ursacks have been tied. That's our food bag. So these are essentially bear resistant bags tied to the tree. And this is where we had dinner. No campfire tonight. It was windy. Then the rain came by and took care of the wind. Now it's fairly calm, but we're not going to bother with a campfire tonight. And the tents have been set up. That's mine. There's Jon's. And there's Stuart's. And there's another gentleman in camp as well tonight. Over there. He came in just before dinner time. We'll talk to you in the morning. Good morning, it's day 2, it's Saturday, and it is foggy. It's about 7:30 in the morning. We're just getting up. I'll give you a view of the meadow here. That gentleman that came in at dinner time, he's fishing already and then he's heading out. And we just heard a pack of coyotes about a half hour ago, yipping over by the river somewhere. Today, we are heading further north and then heading up Moose Creek, and we'll see how far we get today. We'd like to get as far as we can up Moose Creek. The views never get old. Here's a shot of our campsite from last night down in the trees there. And we've just come up, crossed Bear Creek down below, and then we continue heading north. Here's yet another meadow. We keep walking into these and through these every now and then. It's pretty neat. So I think we finally cleared away from the burn area, and now we're more into the forested stuff as we continue north. We're at Glen Creek and we're going to take a break here, take some water, maybe a snack, and I think we're going to put the tents out on the ground to dry up. Pretty damp from last night, lots of condensation, not to mention a little bit of rain. We've got a yard sale going on. We're just drying out the tents from last night from the rain, sitting having a snack break and some water by the creek.
Great, how about you?
Good.
Doing good.
Didn't rain too much last night.
Yeah.
It's up here when it rained for 2 days pretty much.
Nope.
Morning. Morning.
Nice viewpoint here. Another plateau that we've kind of climbed up to. So that snack break back there turned into a little medical thing. I took my socks off for a break and discovered a blood blister, so had to deal with that. And then we had a little horse party ride by, talked to them for a few minutes. I think they're on their way out. Bit of a climb up a little ridge here to get over down into the Moose Creek Valley, and we're looking back to where we've come from this morning. Well, lunch is done here at Moose Creek. Stuart's already across. John's trying to figure out a way, and so am I. Well, this is camp for tonight. We rolled into here a few minutes ago. Hobbled might be a better word. How many miles today, Stuart?
Almost 14.
14 miles, so we're camped along Moose Creek. And the three of us, I think, are going for maybe a swim in a few minutes here. I'll show you the tents here in a second. John found a spot here in the trees. Stuart and I are further back in these trees. A little close together, but they'll work. Well, it's nearing the end of a long day, on the trail anyway. Pretty tired here. I think we all are. So the boys are already, I think, in the tents. I'm going to be shortly in mine, just having a hot chocolate. No campfire tonight, maybe tomorrow night. Tomorrow we continue up Moose Creek to the Chinese Wall. Looking forward to it. Good morning, it's day 3. It's Sunday morning. We're gonna head up Moose Creek to the Chinese Wall. This is gonna be the highlight of the trip. We're looking forward to it. And Stuart thought he heard something last night in camp. Yelled over to me, I was already awake. It sounded like, I don't know, like hoofing or something. I wonder maybe if it was elk, maybe deer, I don't know what it was. Anyway, we survived the night. And there it is, that's our first good glimpse of the Chinese Wall up ahead. I just thought I'd show you where we've come from, coming up Moose Creek. And we just stopped for a water break and a little bit of a foot clinic. Working on a couple more blisters beside that blood blister. So took care of that. John's got a nice blister he's working on. And we got water from Moose Creek just down below us. It's probably the last water before the Chinese Wall. So I think now begins the serious climb up for about 2 miles. Here's another glimpse of the wall. We're getting that much closer. Gradual climb so far, but it's going to get steeper, I'm sure. We just came up on this sign, so this is the start of the area below the wall where camping is not allowed. I guess because it's such a popular area. Still climbing and huffing and puffing, and I think we're almost there. This would have been a nice lunch stop. Oh well. Still climbing. We've crested the ridge between the Moose Creek Valley and Burnt Creek. Now we're about to head down towards Burnt Creek. This would be the southern end of the wall. We passed another horse party back there. We've seen more horses on this hike than hikers. We had to kind of maneuver around them. One of the horses bucked off a box and pulled up a little bit lame, so they were resting for a few minutes. The gentleman figured she'll be okay, so I learned a horse year. They were telling me that horses can live about 25 years or so. So I guess a horse year is what, about 3 years? 3.5 years? Dog years are 7. We're continuing down toward Burnt Creek, and we hope to camp there tonight, somewhere along Burnt Creek. Hopefully we can find a nice spot. So this is camp for tonight. It's obviously a horse camp, but we'll take it. We walked We walked long enough and far enough today. Anyway, there's a shovel here.
But here's the thing. It says here, please leave no trace and bury human waste. Helena, Lewis and Clark National Forest. Human waste. I just spent 10 minutes cleaning away non-human waste so I wouldn't have to have it around my tent.
This is our water source for camp. We always like to camp near a river, a creek, stream, pond, lake, whatever. This looks pretty sweet. So I just noticed on my National Geographic trail map that we're smack dab in the middle of the Sun River Game Preserve. We are here tonight, and hunting is allowed in the wilderness here. So these trails, I think a lot of these trails are meant for hunters. Hunting is allowed in the season. The trails that we've hiked so far anyway this week, they seem more gradual in grade than what we faced back in the Canadian Rockies. This morning coming up Moose Creek, we faced a grade of about 8%, which isn't too bad. Back in the Canadian Rockies, it's probably double that. I just wanted to show you a quick shot of what I do for bed. So the backpack is empty of all food and it's laying there. This is in the vestibule that I don't use for the night. And the pack is with the straps down on the ground so that no little critters can chew on the pack straps or shoulder straps through the night. And then around here is the door that I do use. And I've got my dry sack, so during the day I put the tent in the dry sack, and through the night I've got I've got a spare tent pole just in case my trekking pole snaps, and I've got my Nemo puff sack in there. I've got extra tent pegs, the bear sprays inside the tent right beside the sleeping bag, and assorted other goodies for the night. I'll stuff a pillowcase here. I'll stuff this with either a down jacket or a down vest, whatever I'm carrying for the hike. That's my pillow. Usually I wear that jacket or vest in the evening so it's nice and warm when I take it off and put it in the pillowcase for the night. Well, good morning. It's day 4. It's Monday, and it was an interesting night. I went to bed with gas, worked through that, and then about midnight it started cooling down, so I went to do the zipper up on the sleeping bag and I couldn't move the zipper at all either way, so I had to get the headlamp out and worked on it for probably 5 or 10 minutes before I got it moving. Got that done, went back to sleep for a while anyway, and then at 5 o'clock something hit the tent. At first I thought it was a branch that maybe had fallen down from a tree above, but about 5 seconds later something shook the side of the tent, and I think probably what happened was it walked into the guy line. I have 2 guy lines, one on each side, one for the tent pole on each side. So I'm guessing it was maybe a deer. Who knows though, who knows. Anyway, this morning I looked and you can see a pea spot near the corner of the tent, so something was out there. Who knows what it was. Anyway, this morning we are walking along the, what is it, Stuart? The west fork of the east fork of the north fork of the south fork of the Sun River?
Yeah, but first Burnt Creek, I can remember that.
Are we still at Burnt Creek?
We are for a little bit, but
Okay,
not for long.
okay. So a little bit easier day today. It's pretty much all downhill, probably quite gradual. I think we have about 11 miles, and we'll make camp, and then we'll have a short day tomorrow heading out. And every now and then there's a bridge that you get to cross. Looks like another campsite that we probably could have stayed at last night if we'd gone further. The one we had was just fine. A couple of guys here we just passed back there. They're day hiking up to the Chinese wall today. And this is obviously where they camped last night. And just down the trail, maybe 200-300 meters, is a clearing off to the side. Probably another potential campsite. Anytime you see little side trails heading off the main trail, that's probably a campsite. The trails out here in the Bob, I'm really impressed with. They're all in great condition. It's relatively easy walking. I think I said before, they're graded so that the maximum grade I think is probably, we figured about 8%, 7 or 8%, which is really nice. Back in the Canadian Rockies, where we're used to hiking, grades can be more like 10, 12, 15%. Yet another campsite, not that far down the trail. And here we're coming to a little log bridge. Although the water levels right now are fairly low. This is late August. Could probably use a rock hop here. I have no idea what that is. Might be a mount for a trail cam right along the trail here. This is Snake, 56 years young, hiking the Continental Divide Trail, the CDT. Started in New Mexico May 5th.
Yeah.
So he's 4.5 months out.
My name is Snake. I'm from Oxford in the UK. I started the CDT on May the 5th. I've got approximately, I think I finish a week on Thursday. If I were to give you the best thing about doing a through hike, it would be that it's probably one of the most beautiful times of your life, and you get 10 or 12 hours a day to think about stuff. And I don't know any other place where you can do that. There's some little niggles about it. There's not enough length for... When people do a through hike, they might start off with a 35 waist, but now I'm down to a 28.
Oh my gosh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't pull it tight enough anymore.
Right.
We had a great visit with that CDT through hiker back there, Snake, from Oxford. It's always great. It's always fun to talk equipment, hiking gear, stuff like that. Interesting that he does 25-mile days and we're doing 15s. He's in pretty good shape. He said he lost about, I think he said 25 pounds. He figured he averages about 3 miles an hour, so he said he walks pretty fast, but he takes 2-hour breakfasts. So he said usually by the end of the day he ends up in the same place as all the other CDT through hikers. Here's yet another campsite. There's so many campsites along these trails, it's awesome. And the creek is just below, so the water source is nearby. Here's a nice view. We're just starting, I think, to make the turn toward the southeast. And this is really opened up. Looks like maybe a campfire ring down there from a campsite. We had a nice lunch stop back there near the Ahern Creek Junction, and now we continue. It's about 25 Celsius right now, so mid-70s. Here's another trail junction, and this is the trail to Prairie Reef. We are going to stop for water here. We're getting a little low, and it is getting a little warm. Well, we've broken out of the trees, came down into this little valley setting. Kind of nice. Kind of interesting to see the regrowth here from the burn. We'll just give you a sweeping view of where we come from. And now we're making the turn more to the east. Probably about 2 more miles to camp tonight. another hour. This is a whole new view. This is the valley we'll be walking to camp. And that's the one thing I'm really liking about this hike is, you know, you turn a corner, you have a whole new view, new valley to look at. It's great. So hard to see.
Yeah.
So this spot is where we started our actual loop on Friday. We went to the northeast. We've come back from the southwest. And now we're heading down towards where the bridge is over the river when we came in Friday morning. Well, we're going to cross the bridge. We're going to continue. And we're going to find a campsite probably somewhere near here, one with water, stay the night, and then we'll have that much of a shorter morning tomorrow out to the trailhead. From the bridge to the trailhead, I think, is about 5 miles. Looking back to the west in the valley that we came from, and over here is where we went in on Friday.
That's a hare. There's always time for a bunny.
So here we are, still walking. We are getting closer to the trailhead, so we have some decisions to make fairly quickly. We're expecting to come to a creek in about a little over half a mile. So we're gonna stop there, have a look around. We may camp there, and we may decide to continue on to the trailhead, which is not much further. They've got a great campground there, so we may just camp there for the night. And that would be the end of the hike, but let's see what happens. Let's see what this creek is going to give us in a few minutes. So back there a little ways, we figured we were 1.75 miles from the trailhead, which we figured is about a 45-minute walk. And we made a group decision. We had a team huddle, made a group decision, and decided, well, we might as well camp at the trailhead tonight. Have dinner there. There's a nice campground, and it's got an outhouse, picnic tables, and just some really nice sights. So that's what we're doing. Walking back to the trailhead. That will complete the hike. It's nearing 6 o'clock, so it's getting to be dinner time anyway. And Jon and I have a 9-hour drive back home tomorrow, so this will just help that out. It's been a great hike. I've really, really enjoyed this one. I've really enjoyed the Bob Marshall Wilderness. The trails are awesome. Nearing the end. The trailhead is not that far from here. We should be there in a few minutes. We are almost at the end of the hike. We're nearing the trailhead now, the campsite and the parking lot. It's been a great hike. I really enjoyed this one. I look forward to getting out to the Bob again sometime. It is a great place to hike. Well, I thought it was time for a joke. An old cowboy walked into a barber shop for a shave and a haircut. And he told the barber that he was having trouble getting the whiskers off his face because his cheeks were all wrinkled from age. The barber said, no problem. He walked over to a shelf on the wall, grabbed a little jar there, and he took out this little wooden ball, and he gave it to the guy, and he said, here, put this in your mouth, push it against your cheek when I shave that cheek. So after the barber was done, the cowboy said to him, man, that was the best shave I think I've ever had, the smoothest shave. But I was sitting there worrying what would have happened if I would have swallowed the little ball. And the barber said, oh, no problem. You could have brought it back in a couple more days, just like everybody else did. Well, we're back at the trailhead where it all began. It's been a great 4 days.
4 days?
Yeah.
Attaboy.
It seems like 5 or 6, but Jon, thoughts?
Lots of mileage, that's for sure. What a beautiful area, you guys. The trails down here in Bob Marshall are unbelievable. The weather was fantastic. We're mid-August. It is beautiful down here. Hey Stuart, how's the hike?
It was great. It was epic. The trails are in immaculate condition. I can't believe it. The grades were awesome. Had great company, lots of laughs, and lots of heat. But there's lots of water on the trail as well. It was an epic trip, and the first time in the Bob for all of us, right?
It was,
yeah, so the first time in the Bob, and I tell you, I honestly won't be the last.
And I will echo those sentiments. Stuart mentioned it, I've mentioned it, I think countless times. The grades down here on the trails are much nicer than what we would find in the Canadian Rockies, and we appreciate that. Lots of great random camping campsites along the trail. In particular, today there were several right along the trail within maybe half a mile of each other. Just a great place to hike overall. I recommend it. I will definitely come back and hike here again in the Bob. I loved it. So it's Thursday morning? No, it's Friday morning.
Friday morning.
So it's Friday.
Take two.
Yeah.
Cut. Blooper.
And he told the barber that he was having trouble getting the whiskers off his face because his cheeks were all wrinkled from age. The barber shit.
We need a blooper reel.
Yeah. Okay, where are we going to
Everybody suck in their guts.
Yeah, that's too
Well, I got
hold
breasts
on,
now.
Hold on.
See every wrinkle on my. I need balls in my cheeks so I can shave my wrinkles. That's a one-take wonder.
Now, Parallel 49. I want to introduce our beer.